There's a question many people are quietly carrying in their hearts. How much effort is too much effort in love? Because you want to be understanding, you want to be patient, you want to show up fully, but somewhere along the way, you start feeling tired. Not the normal kind of tired that comes from caring about someone, but the kind that comes from feeling like the relationship only moves when you push it. Like if you stop trying, everything might fall apart. And that's a very confusing place to be. Because love does require effort. Every meaningful relationship does. But there's a difference, a very important difference between effort that is mutual and effort that is forced. Mutual effort feels like two people reaching for each other at the same time. Forced effort feels like one person constantly stretching, hoping the other will meet them halfway. And many people don't realize when they've crossed from one into the other. At first, it doesn't feel unhealthy. It just feels like you're doing your part. You initiate conversations more. You apologize first to keep peace. You check in when they withdraw. You adjust your expectations. You give more understanding than you receive. You tell yourself, they're just stressed. They're going through something. This is what love is, being there. And sometimes that's true. But sometimes you slowly become the one carrying the emotional weight of two people. And that's where overgiving begins. Overgiving rarely starts from weakness. It often starts from love, from empathy, from loyalty, from the desire to protect the connection. But over time, something subtle happens. You stop asking, are we both trying? And you start asking, what else can I do to make this work? That shift is small but powerful, because now the responsibility for the relationship quietly moves onto your shoulders. You begin to monitor moods. You anticipate reactions. You manage tension. You repair disconnection. And without realizing it, you become the emotional stabilizer, the one holding everything together. The danger of this isn't always obvious. There's no dramatic explosion, no clear moment where you can say, no, this is unhealthy. Instead, there's a slow erosion. You feel anxious more often. You overthink simple interactions. You question your own needs. And one of the biggest signs is that you start feeling responsible for another adult's effort. That's heavy, because relationships are not meant to be maintained by one person's emotional labor alone. Healthy effort has movement on both sides. Not perfection, but participation. Not equal in every moment, but balanced over time. In a mutual relationship, you might give more during their difficult season, and they give more during yours. But the energy eventually returns. You feel met, seen, and considered. With forced effort, the energy rarely comes back. You keep pouring, hoping consistency will create change. And sometimes people stay in that pattern for years because they say to themselves, if I just love better, it will improve. Listen, my darling, love is not proven by how much exhaustion you can tolerate. Love is not measured by how much of yourself you can sacrifice, and giving more does not always create more connection. Sometimes it only creates more imbalance. One of the quiet dangers of overgiving is that you begin to disconnect from yourself. Your needs become negotiable. Your boundaries soften. Your standards lower gradually. Not because you don't value yourself, but because you value the relationship. Don't get me wrong. It's okay to value love, but love should not require self-abandonment to survive. There's also a fear many people don't talk about. The fear that if you stop trying so hard, you might discover the other person wasn't trying at all. That realization can be painful, so instead, you keep compensating. You fill the gaps. You make excuses. You carry hope. But mutual effort has a very different emotional feeling. You don't feel like you're convincing someone to choose you. You don't feel like you're earning attention. You don't feel like connection depends entirely on your behavior. There is a steadiness, cooperation, a sense that both people care about maintaining the bond, even during conflict, even during stress, even during imperfect moments. Mutual effort doesn't remove problems, but it removes loneliness inside the relationship. Sometimes it helps to think about this through a story. In the notebook, the relationship between Noah and Ali wasn't simple. Life pulled them apart. There were misunderstandings, years of separation, and emotional distance at times. But underneath everything, there was willingness on both sides. Noah didn't spend his life trying to convince Ali to love him. Ali didn't have to shrink herself to keep Noah interested. They both lived their lives. They both made choices. And when they came back together, the connection wasn't built on one person carrying everything alone. It was mutual. They both returned. They both chose. They both showed up. And that's what healthy effort feels like. Not perfect, not effortless, but shared, because overgiving relationships often look very different. One person is constantly adjusting, constantly reaching, constantly trying to make it work, while the other participates only when it's convenient. And over time, that imbalance creates exhaustion, not intimacy. Healthy love doesn't require you to prove your devotion through depletion. It grows when both people are willing to move toward each other, again and again, even in small ways, even imperfectly, but willingly. Because one of the most painful experiences is not being alone. It's feeling alone with someone. If you find yourself constantly overgiving, it may help to gently ask yourself a few questions. Not with judgment, just with honesty. If I stopped initiating for a while, what would happen? Do I feel safe expressing disappointment here? Am I loved for who I am, or for how much I accommodate? Do I feel chosen, or do I feel like I'm proving my worth? These questions aren't meant to create fear. They're meant to create awareness, because awareness protects self-respect. And self-respect is not the opposite of love. It's part of healthy love. You deserve effort too. You deserve consideration. You deserve someone who notices when you're tired, not only when you're useful. You deserve reciprocity, not perfection, but willingness. Willingness to show up. Willingness to repair. Willingness to grow together. Real love does involve effort, but it should feel like building something together, not dragging something alone. And if you ever realize you've been carrying more than your share, that doesn't mean you failed at love. It means you cared. Now the question becomes, who is willing to care with you? Because the right relationship won't require you to disappear just to keep it alive. It will make space for you to exist fully and still be loved. If you've ever felt like you were carrying love alone, I hope this reminded you that you're not asking for too much. You're asking for mutual efforts. So, if this spoke to you, like the video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe if you want more honest conversations like this. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you in the next video.